What TV show was amazing at first but became unwatchable for you later on? The Walking Dead. First few seasons were great with pretty good pacing. Later seasons devolve into telling one story at a time. They'd have a cliffhanger of a character maybe dying and do 3 weeks of other stories. By the time it gets back to the cliffhanger you have no idea what's happening. That and it got repetitive. Heroes. Biggest drop in quality after Season 1. Glee. It should have ended with Season 3. 4 to 6 were just terrible and unnecessary. Happy Days. Once Fonzie jumped the shark while waterskiing and wearing his jacket. The show just got progressively worse. P.S. I know. The Blacklist. So many loopholes and a never-ending plot. I mean, the female hero, forgot her name, was wanted and had her pictures broadcast nationwide live. But a couple of weeks after she can do undercover work. Arrow. It's what happens when you try to make so many seasons for a show meant for only a few. Castle. By the end of filming the two main leads hated each other. And you can tell. They had to come up with wacky storylines to keep them apart. Heroes. Season 1 was great and fresh. Season 2 didn't know what to do with itself and just started giving everyone superpowers. By Season 3, characters were just changing motivations at the drop of a hat and it was just a huge mess of bad writing. Once upon a time, the first 3 seasons were good. And then after that they just kept getting worse. Weeds. A hilarious and intriguing show that slowly grew to be about a bunch of unlikable assholes making bad, selfish decisions. When there's no one with any redeeming characteristics, there's no one for the audience to get behind. Not the worst offender, but that 70s show tanked pretty hard once Eric left. He was sorely needed to make the chemistry of the group work. Suits. Loved the premise and first couple of seasons. But later it turned into just stupid drama between the characters and less about actual lore. House of Cards. Grey's Anatomy 100%. The show was great. But I just can't keep up with all the twists and turns and freaky accidents anymore. It's also a lot less funny. It should have ended seasons ago. How to Get Away with Murder. The first season had some intrigue and plot. And then they just start murdering people left and right after that. True Blood. When the fairies entered the picture, I exited. I watched every new episode of Glee when it came out and was slightly obsessed with the show. But as soon as it finished it all crumbled. The show makes no sense. Is not good. And I could never rewatch it. Pretty Little Liars. I was addicted to this show but it could have ended in Season 2. The Flash on CW. Bones. At first it was a fresh setting for a procedural with likable, developed characters. But then Brennan got flanderized hard starting around S4 and it was never the same. I actually think that Glee was like a fun guilty pleasure show when it first came out. Then after like 4 to 6 episodes there was a writer's strike and when it finally came back it just got worse and worse until it was unwatchable. Sliders. Went downhill after Season 3, by Season 5 it was meh. Catfish. Was a fun watch at the start. But it just devolved into fake. Staged tripe. Not sure it was ever real TBF. But at least at the start it was somewhat believable. The 100. Any show that has more than 4 seasons without any prior planning for it. Falling Skies had cool things every season. But they were definitely running out of quality ideas or writers by Season 4. That finale was a joke also. Edit. I hated the love triangles. Misfits unfortunately. Grey's Anatomy. Everyone on that show is so fucking annoying. Dexter was great but peaked at the end of season 4. Could not stand the last 2 seasons. Definitely the Blacklist for me. Couldn't even watch the last season because everything was Elizabeth. A. The Walking Dead. Dexter. But then I watched the rest of it anyway. Riverdale. Shameless. Haven't even finished the season Fiona leaves and I've heard it only gets worse. Designated Survivor. It started out very much like a modern-day West Wing. But a key plot arc involved one of the key characters deliberately withholding his HIV status from his boyfriend. That's bad enough. But the show went on to vilify the boyfriend for being justifiably angry. Because fuck consent. Am I right? Edit. If you really want your blood to boil. The showrunners had the boyfriend apologize to the key character *** for getting angry about being exposed to HIV without his knowledge or consent ***, and we all learned a valuable lesson in erasing the stigma, nip, tuck. Sabrina. It was really cool. Then later on, Jesus Christ. The protagonist is a Mary Sue. Everyone always listens to her. You can always guarantee none of her friends will die and you can always feel like the trouble she gets herself and her friends into aren't threatening. What a waste. Edit. For some reason people think I'm talking about the sitcom. Why? I'm talking about the god-awful Netflix adaptation. The first season was insanely fun. Everything after just felt like the most below bare minimum awful writing I have ever seen in any show. Lol.